October 4, 2001, Trenton, New Jersey. A postal worker feeds a stack of ordinary envelopes into the mail stream. Nothing about them appears unusual. Within days, letters carrying finely milled anthrax spores begin reaching news organizations and government offices across the United States. The country is already shaken by the September 11th attacks, which means every unexplained event suddenly feels connected. Fear spreads faster than the mail itself. The first confirmed victim is Robert Stevens, a photo editor in Florida, who falls seriously ill after inhaling anthrax spores. Doctors initially struggle to explain his condition because inhalation anthrax is exceptionally rare in the United States. Laboratory testing soon confirmed the diagnosis. Public health officials realize they may be facing something far more dangerous than an isolated medical case. Then another letter arrives at NBC News in New York. Inside is a short typed message and a cloud of invisible spores. Employees who handled the envelope are tested and treated. Postal workers, journalists, and government agencies suddenly become part of a rapidly expanding investigation. Buildings that had been ordinary workplaces only days before are now treated as potential crime scenes. Because the attacks rely on the postal system, uncertainty spreads nationwide. Millions of letters move through sorting facilities every day. Nobody knows how many envelopes exist or where they are headed next. Mailrooms install emergency procedures. Protective equipment becomes common. Ordinary correspondence is suddenly viewed with suspicion. The investigation quickly grows into one of the largest criminal inquiries in FBI history. Agents collect envelopes, handwriting samples, fingerprints, surveillance footage, and thousands of environmental samples. Scientists begin analyzing the anthrax itself. The spores are unusually refined, which raises immediate questions about their origin and the expertise required to produce them. Attention turns toward laboratories that legally study anthrax for defensive research. Investigators know that several government and military facilities possess authorized samples. The challenge is proving where the material came from without contaminating the scientific process with assumptions. Every laboratory record, storage log, and personnel list becomes important. Meanwhile, additional letters reach the offices of United States Senators Tom Daschle and Patrick Leahy. The envelopes release large quantities of spores when opened. Government buildings are evacuated. Parts of Capitol Hill shut down. Mail delivery to congressional offices changes dramatically, reflecting a threat that few people had previously imagined. The attacks ultimately kill 5 people and infect 17 others. Thousands more receive precautionary antibiotics. Hospitals prepare for additional cases that never appear. Health officials repeatedly reassure the public while acknowledging that many questions remain unanswered. Every new report of suspicious powder triggers another emergency response. Scientists eventually identify genetic characteristics that narrow the source of the spores. Sophisticated laboratory analysis suggests they came from a particular research strain known as Ames. That finding reduces the field of possible origins but does not identify a specific individual. The evidence points towards specialized scientific access rather than a foreign battlefield. Early public speculation frequently focuses on international terrorism because the attacks occur only weeks after September 11th. As the investigation develops, however, evidence increasingly points in a different direction. Investigators begin examining American biodefense researchers with legitimate access to anthrax. The shift surprises both the public and many officials following the case. Years pass as forensic techniques improve. The FBI increasingly focuses on Bruce Ivins, a senior researcher at the United States Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. Investigators analyze laboratory records, work schedules, emails, and psychological evidence alongside the evolving scientific findings. Ivins consistently denies responsibility through his attorneys. In July 2008, before prosecutors file criminal charges, Bruce Ivins dies from an apparent overdose. His death prevents any criminal trial from taking place. Without courtroom testimony, cross-examination, or a jury verdict, many questions remain unresolved.
The FBI later concludes that Ivins acted alone, citing the combination of forensic evidence, laboratory access, and investigative findings. Not everyone accepts that conclusion. Some scientists question whether the genetic evidence alone can definitively identify a single perpetrator. Others argue that alternative explanations were never fully eliminated. Independent reviews examine portions of the investigation, agreeing with some findings while expressing caution about others. Debate continues long after the physical evidence has been catalogued. The Anthrax Letters permanently change how governments prepare for biological threats. Mail screening technology expands, emergency response protocols evolve, public health agencies strengthen coordination with law enforcement, research laboratories adopt tighter security measures and more detailed record-keeping. A handful of envelopes reshapes national policy for years. Unlike many crimes, the greatest weapon was not visible, it was uncertainty. Every unopened envelope became a possible threat, every ordinary mailbox became a source of anxiety. The attacks demonstrated how a small quantity of biological material could create nationwide disruption without large explosions or dramatic public scenes. Fear became part of the method. More than 22 years later, the case still occupies a unique place in American criminal history. It combined microbiology, forensic science, intelligence work, and traditional detective investigation in ways rarely seen before. The evidence remains extensive, the conclusions remain debated by some experts, and the letters themselves remain among the most infamous pieces of mail ever delivered. They found the spores. The certainty remained contested.